Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Monique Goyens. I'm the director of BEUC, the European Consumer Organization, and I really would like to apologize for not being with you here in Paris this week. But I have to admit that for me it's customer week every week, and my agenda was really too packed in order to go to Paris for a day. It's even more frustrating, if I may say so, because I saw that you had a customer week with quite a lot of speakers there. However, in spite of this being a customer week, speaking about customer-centric banking, I was the only consumer representative to take the floor. So I thought that maybe I could have shared quite some interesting views with you, and that's a reason for my frustration, but still, apologies again. I will not speak very long because it's boring to have a long speech, certainly on video. So my motto is normally short and sharp, and I would like to share just a few messages with you. But what I really would like to stress is that my organization claims to be the consumer voice in Europe. And why do we claim that? We claim that because we are the umbrella organization of 40 of the most important and influential consumer organizations in Europe, out of 30 countries. And of course, I see in your program that there are quite a lot of specialists speaking at this customer week, having done studies about consumer behavior, consumer expectations, consumer attitudes, consumer needs, consumer reactions in the banking sector. However, what we claim that we know the consumer quite well, because my organizations that are member of my network, they have contacts with 100,000 of consumers every day, and they rather well know what their frustrations are, what their expectations and needs are. And the difference between the marketing specialists and the consumer organizations is the objective. Why do we know this? Why do we have this expertise? And while marketing specialists study consumer behavior and consumer biases in order to optimize the business, which is legitimate, of course, we as consumer organizations just try to understand consumers in order to enhance their experience on the market. And that gives quite differing perspectives. So what would I like to say with you, to you? We speak about customer-centric banking, and to some extent it's a little bit a paradox, because when you look at all the promotional material or the advertisements in the banking sector, you have the impression that it's already customer-centric, but of course you have to go beyond the marketing slogan. And what we see for the moment is that in fact financial markets score very low in terms of consumer satisfaction, and this is being confirmed by the yearly European Consumer Market Scoreboard. There is quite a high level of consumer distrust in the retail financial services sectors, and what happens for the moment around the discussions with deposit guarantees is quite worrying, and is certainly not restoring consumer trust in the financial market. And just to tell you, I was a few days ago in another conference in Brussels this time with bankers, and I was really shocked by their reaction when I said that people, consumers, ordinary people, they don't expect to take a risk when they deposit money on a bank account, and they said that this is a risk that you have to take and that you have to be aware of. It's like if I told you that when you put your car in the garage for a repair or a maintenance, this car, you could lose it if the garage in the meantime goes bankrupt, and it can be kept by those who take care of the bankruptcy. It's something which is against, just common sense. And the point is that there is lack of consumer trust, or even presence of consumer distrust in the financial services market for several reasons, also due to the financial crisis and to mismanagement of risk-taking in the banking sector, but also because there is not, for the moment, a healthy competition. While it's a competitive market, or it's supposed to be a competitive market, consumers cannot vote with their feet because they are locked into a very long-term relationships with banks, and it's not really made easy for them to know whether there is a better deal somewhere else, and to really concretize this by switching bank accounts. And therefore I would like to bring 3 messages across to you for this conference, to give you some food for thought. And it's really very important to switch this concept of customer-centric banking, which we can only welcome as a consumer organization, of course, but to switch it from a marketing slogan to a real change of mindset in the banking sector. Because if we really would have customer-centric banking already applicable now, we wouldn't have this level of dissatisfaction and distrust by consumers. So make it happen. That's really something that I would like to say. And the first thing that has to happen, if you really want to engage truly into customer-centric banking, is to change the staff incentive model. Because currently, and I have had quite a lot of conversations with bank staff and bank employees, currently those people are put under pressure in order to push sales, in order to enhance, to increase the volume of sales, and they have very often to do so by advising people into buying products that are not really adequate for them, or certainly are not the best deal for them. And not only is this bad for consumers, but this is also bad for the employees. They don't like it because they realize that they have to cheat upon their clients, and they are in the front line, and they also then have to manage in a more or less good way customer dissatisfaction. So the first thing you have to do is to change the business model that is linked to staff incentives, and to link it not with sales but with global customer satisfaction. This is certainly a major element of customer-centric banking. The second element has to do also again with staff and with staff training. Just to give you an example, a few years ago there has been a negotiation at European level between the banking sector and the institutions about the establishment of common principles to make it easier for consumers to switch bank accounts. This is key when you want to have a competitive market where consumers drive markets according to their criteria of satisfaction. Now, this has been discussed. It was quite a difficult negotiation. We were invited as observers, and we were able to feed into the discussions. However, and it was also done, if I may say, by the industry in order to prevent a regulatory initiative by the European Commission. And at the end, even if the code has been adopted at the end of the day, the people in the branches that had to assist in the daily life of the consumer, those who wanted to switch bank accounts, they were not aware of it. So it's very important that if senior management commits to more customer-centric banking, this has also to go down to the whole hierarchy in order for those staff or those employees that are indeed in contact with the consumer to be able to apply the new principles. And by the way, as our mystery shopping has shown, that this doesn't work. The common principles of making it easier to switch bank accounts, they don't work. For the moment, the Commission is preparing a proposal which will make it mandatory to provide assistance and information to consumers to make it easy to switch bank accounts. So that's also a very important element. Train your staff that is in direct contact with consumers in order to be able for that staff to apply more consumer-friendly provisions and rules and principles. Last element, last and not least, and I'm sure you will find that the utter provocation on my behalf, but still it's for us a crucial element. If you really want to have customer-centric banking, if you really want to have healthy competition on the market, and if this healthy competition is going through via bank account switching, there is one barrier that has really to be cancelled, to be deleted for the consumer, and that is the fact that currently the bank account number is not portable. This prevents many consumers, for many good reasons, from switching their bank account. Now you are going to tell me this is not possible technically. Now I don't buy that argument at all, because I believe in European brains or world brains. I believe in our experts that have made it possible to have portable telephone numbers. And here you need a little bit of technology, you need a little bit of software, and this is something that should not be an unovercomable hurdle in order to make it easier for consumers to take their bank account number with them, even if they change banks. And I have already discussed it with some of your colleagues from the banking sector. I know that you are very reluctant to go for that. And I told them that the banker who is behind that project, who would lead to the bank account number portability, I would really designate him as the Consumer Champion of the Year, for what that's worth. But that would be certainly a major signal that the banking sector is more customer centric, because it will really make it possible for the consumer to sanction effectively the bank that he's not satisfied with, but also more positively to go to the bank that he thinks is the better deal for him. So this is what I had to share with you. I hope that I have provided you with some food for thought on staff incentive systems, on staff training, and on bank account number portability. I'm really still sorry that I'm not able to discuss this more informally with you now in a coffee break, but I'm sure that you will be able to track down my contact details, and happy to discuss this further by mail or by phone if you wish so. I wish you a very fruitful rest of conference and have a good day.